Hey guys, what's going on? My name is Ismail. I'm the founder of Fermented Solutions, which is a company that helps to grow and scale med spas by using the med spa expansion model. Now that that's out the way, let's jump into the video. Now, word on the streets is that med spas are not making a lot of money, right? Which leads me to today's topic. And in this video, I'm going to break down the med spa market, why most med spas are not successful, and the successful med spa foundations, right? So let's get into it. The med spa market. Now, if you're in the med spa game, if you're in the med spa market, it's because you realized and you've identified that there's a lot of money to be made here. In fact, the average single location med spa generates $1.4 million per year. One med spa, one location, doing $1.4 million per year. If you don't believe me, you can go on Google and search it up. It's free. Now, I actually wanted to illustrate this point to drive it home, right? So on average, $1.4 million, right? We'll say this is 2 million plus, and this is zero. Now, when we hear $1.4 million, we think that, wow, this is a lot of money. Now, I've talked to, hundreds, if not thousands of med spas, and a lot of them are struggling to even make $10,000 per month. Now, the average med spa has a 20% profit margin, 20 to 30%, right? If you get really good at what you do, you can even go up to 40% margins. Now, most med spas are at 20%. Some of them are even lower. But for examples purposes, let's just stick with 20%. Okay? This means that if you make $10,000 in the month, you walk away with $2,000 in your pocket as the owner after expenses and whatnot. You walk away with $2,000, which is $24,000 in the year, right? $24,000 in the year. Now, you can get paid more working a minimum wage job. And the crazy thing about this number is that $24,000 per year is what 25% of the market makes. Right? This number represents 25% of the market. 25% of med spas are doing $24,000 per year. Now, I actually wanted to break this down for you guys even more. Right? So, we're going to talk about the revenue, profits per year, and the percentage of the market that's there. Now, we said that if you're making 0 to 10K a year, which is $120,000, sorry, 0 to 10K per month, which is $120K per year, you're making $24,000 in profit. 25% of the market is here. Now, the next segment is 10 to 25K per month, which is $120,000 to $300,000 per year. This is $60,000 profits. 25% of the market's here. Now, what I'm hoping you're seeing is that even though your business is generating six figures, even $300,000, as the med spa owner, you're only really walking away with $60,000. You're not walking away with that much money, right? Now, the next segment is 25K to 40K a month, right? This is 300,000 to 500,000 a year. This is 100K profits. 20% of the market's here. Now, this represents 70% of the market. And the crazy thing about the 70% is that they're working crazy hours, overtime, right? Putting on a whole bunch of time and energy, effort, stress, risk, liability, all of this just to make as much money as you would as at a job, right? You're doing all this and more to make the same amount of money as a job. That's crazy. Let's continue going though. Now, the next segment is $40,000 to $80,000 per month, which is $500,000 to $1 million a year. As the owner, you would walk away with $200,000, and 15% of the market is here, right? So if you're here, good job, because not all your time and effort is worth it, because you're walking away with a pretty penny. $200,000 is a nice paycheck. Now, this is 85% of the market, right? 85% of the market is below the average. 85% of the market is below the average. 70% is here, working almost worse conditions than a job and getting the same as a job. 15%, is doing okay, but they're still all below the average. That's nuts. Okay, let's continue. Now the next segment is $80,000 to $170,000 per month. This is $1 to $2 million a year. As an owner, you'd walk away with $400,000 actually. Yep. As the owner, you'd walk away with $400,000 in profit, and this is 10% of the market. Now, remember what I said about earlier? If you know what you're doing and you're good at what you're doing, you can actually increase your profit margins. So this 400, instead of 400,000, can be 800,000 or 600,000, right? Because your profit is no longer 20%, it's 30% or 40%. So for now, we'll just put 600,000. Okay, and this is 10% of the market. And then the next segment, the last segment, is 170 plus. This is 2 million plus per year. Again, you're making 600K plus, and this is 5% of the market, right? 15% of the market is above the average. Insane. And this is what I wanted to show you guys. 15% is killing the game, while 85% is struggling. And now what I really wanted to show you guys is that $75% of the market share is owned by the 15%, right? And 85% of the market is sharing crumbs. 85% of the market is sharing crumbs, and 15% is making the big bucks, right? That's crazy. The overall market distribution is insane. 15% is killing the game. 85% is sharing the crumbs. And the point of this YouTube channel, or my YouTube videos, is to get as many people from the 70% to the 15%, right? That's making a decent amount of money, and to get all these guys that are making a decent amount of monies past the average, right? And for me to do that, you have to understand why, or what is it that this 15% is doing, which is giving them all of this money that the 85% is not doing, right? And for me to do that, I would have to give you some context that you can probably relate to, right? Now, you probably went to spend a lot of time in school, right? Becoming a nurse or an esthetician, or even becoming a doctor. Or maybe you spent a whole bunch of time getting licenses and certifications, right? To deliver awesome med spa services, right? So you spent all this time in school getting your information, your knowledge, your experience, understanding things about products and treatments and all of that, all of the stuff to actually help you to be able to open your own med spa. So you went to school, you realized that, hey, there's a lot of money to be made in the med spa game, right? I'm going to go and open my own business, right? I'm going to start my own med spa business. And what I'm going to do is, because I have all this knowledge and experience, I'm going to give my clients the best results in the game, right? And I'm going to charge a competitive price, right? This is going to be my business model, right? I'm going to get my first few clients at a competitive price. I'm going to give them amazing results. They're going to become loyal to me. They're going to tell all their friends about me, right? I'm going to get a bunch of Google reviews, and I'm slowly going to increase my business this way. Slowly going to get more clients, more loyal clients, and this is going to be a business model. And this is a really good idea, actually. In fact, it's such a good idea that 85% of the market is doing this. 85% of the market is following this exact process. this business model, right? And the problem here is that in terms of results, right, 85% of the market has the same knowledge as you. They have the same experience as you. They are offering the same treatments, the same products, same ingredients, right? 85% of them are giving good results to their clients, right? Then you have the 10% that are giving bad results. These guys are the med spas that are in someone's basement and they give botched lip filler jobs, and you do a microneedling and you actually get a whole breakout going on. So 10% is giving bad results, right? And then you have 5% that's giving better results. And this 5% are these guys, right? The guys that are making the big bucks. They have the $100,000 body contouring machines. You're probably not going to have better results than them. So when it comes to results, you can't really compete here because most results are going to be the same, right? And then when it comes to price, I mean, you could give discounts, right? You could be more competitive with your price, but like I mentioned, your profit margins are already 20%. Are you going to go down to 15%? Are you going to go down to 5%? Right? This is not sustainable. This is not a good business model. This is not how you grow. This is how you get stuck over here and barely make any money, right? This is how you end up with $24,000 a year. So what makes or what separates the top 15%? What are they doing differently? Why are they making much more money than everyone else? And this is where it gets interesting, right? This is very important. I like to call this med spa foundations. Okay. Now, there's a few foundations that are very important. Okay, I'm going to list them over here. Client acquisition. This is how are you getting new clients through your doors? What are you doing to get new clients through your doors? Okay, that's client acquisition. The next one is sales. This is when you get people to come through your doors, what are you doing to sell treatments and retail products and packages and services? Okay, that's sales. Now, the next foundation is client retention and lifetime value. This is when once you sell someone on something, what do you do to get them to come back? What do you do to get them to come back more often? What do you do to get them to spend more money with you? Right? Now, what I want you to understand about these foundations is you have systems that make up these foundations, right? There could be multiple systems that make up these foundations. For example, so let me just explain what a system is first. So what is a system? All a system is you put something in, you get something out, right? You put a stranger into your client acquisition system and you get a booked appointment, or you get someone coming through your doors, right? You put someone that comes in through your doors for the first time into your sales system, and you get someone that's buying packages or treatments, right? You put someone into your client retention system, and you get someone that's coming back to your med spa, that's staying with you longer. This is a clock. And spending more money with you, right? So I'm trying to explain is that these foundations are made up of systems, right? For client acquisition, you may have attention garnering systems, lead conversion systems, lead nurturing systems, right? Maybe one of your client acquisition systems or one of your attention garnering systems is Facebook ads. Maybe one of them is reactivation campaigns or referral campaigns, right? Each of these foundations are much more complex, and I'm going to go into more detail in future videos, But for now, this is what I want you to understand as the basics, is that are these three foundations, right? Now, the most important thing about these three foundations is that with just 1 to 3 people and these foundations dialed in into your business, you can get up to right here, $40,000 a month, right? You're making 100K a year. And if you have everything dialed in properly and your business is running smoothly, this 100K becomes very easy. It's no longer a high stress job that you're working with crazy hours. You're running a profitable business with just up to 3 people and these three foundations in place. But if you want to get past this 40K a month mark, then what you need to do is add this foundation, is team. You're not going to scale past $40,000 a month without your team, right? It'd be very difficult. A good team is going to make or break your business. Now there's two other things that are very important. Metrics and data, and brand. Now, if you're not tracking your metrics or your data, you don't have a business, you have a dream, you have a hope, right? You need to be tracking things like your customer lifetime value, retention rates, right? Churn, cost to acquire clients, right? You need to be tracking all of these things, as well as, metrics related to your team, right? Metrics related to your sales conversions. You need to be tracking all this data. And the reason why is because without your data or metrics, you're not going to know what decisions to make for your business. Data and metrics helps you to make better decisions for your business. Now let me give you a quick example, right? Imagine you have 3 team members. And let's say each team member deals with 10 first-time clients that are coming through your med spa, right? And out of the 10, let's say, employee number 1 gets 7 to come back, employee number 2, gets 5 to come back, and employee number 3 gets none to come back. If you're not tracking these numbers, then you won't know which employee is doing a good job, which one needs more training, right? And which one may need to be replaced, right? And let's say, for example, all of these are like 2 or 3, right? So only 3 or 2 of these guys came back. Then maybe you can attribute this issue to one of these systems, right? Maybe your client acquisition has some issues, or maybe your sales is having some issues. Usually if no one's coming back, it's probably your sales having an issue, or your retention and lifetime value is having some issues, right? And you won't know this unless you're tracking all these data and metrics, right? So if you're not tracking anything, start tracking them. Do it on Excel, or there's a whole bunch of softwares that can do this for you. Now, the brand, right? Yeah, so sorry, before I even get into the brand, the data and the metrics help you make better decisions and optimize your different foundations and your systems, right? It's going to help you make a better team. It's going to help you with this retention and lifetime value, with your sales and with your client acquisition, right? It's going to help you optimize it, make it better. Maybe you have a system that's not performing well at all, right? Maybe it's a better idea just to cancel the system. Maybe it's not worth the time or money. Maybe you have a system that's not performing as well as it used to. So maybe you have to improve on it. You won't know this if you're not tracking your data or your metrics, right? Now, the brand is the crazy part, because this is the cheat code. Once you have a really good brand in place, you're going to be attracting better teams, better talent. You're going to, retention and lifetime value is going to increase. Sales is going to become much easier, and getting new clients is going to become way easier as well. All because you have a very popular brand, right? So start making your brand today if you haven't already. Now, I'm hoping this video made it clear why a small percentage of med spas are killing the game while majority are struggling, right? And I just want to make one thing clear, is that these foundations require some expertise and knowledge to implement effectively. And that's what I'm going to show you guys how to do and what to do in my next videos. I'll go into more detail about all of these foundations, because if I do it in this video right now, it might be 5 hours long and you guys might get bored. So the key takeaways, right, is that there's a lot of money to be made in the med spa market. Most med spa owners aren't making much at all, and there's a few that are making all the money because they have their foundations in place. And so if you want to see how we're implementing these foundations into our clients' med spas, then go ahead and click the link in my description. Okay? Thanks for watching the video. Take care.